Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. Looking ahead to FA Cup weekend. We are smack bang right in the middle of Cup week. First game done and dusted, 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest, pretty much confirming our place in the final. Dare I say it, barring a disaster at Old Trafford here on Wednesday night. Off to the FA Cup, which is tomorrow against Reading. What Reading pulls threat-wise to us is very little, and I think we'll see a different team come out here at Old Trafford tomorrow, where I think Ten Hag, when he was speaking today, was alluding to possible changes, subtly moving around the questions from the media and the journalists today. I think he's just playing it down in every single way possible, and I think we've just got to give praise to Ten Hag and how he's handled the press and how he's just casually just moved across everything, every little issue and everything that could be brought up and made a problem. He's just quashed and just moved on. The biggest talking point, and one I want to go in on the most, is the fact that the obvious question in the press conference came about JADON Sancho. Obviously, we haven't seen JADON Sancho in a very, very long time. I think this, if he doesn't play in this game, would be around about game 18. For that price tag and that amount of money each week, you can see why fans would kick up a little bit of a stink. Everyone wants to be patient with him, and the whole fan base is right behind him, and hopefully he comes back a stronger person and has dealt with a lot of the issues that he was having, which were them little gremlins, them issues he's having in his personal life, whatever it may be. Keep it there. It is his personal life. Ten Hag will know about it because he knows about every player in his squad. He's dealing with it the best way he possibly can. I did mention this in the show on Adam Talks the other day about how much pressure would be on JADON Sancho. But for me now, when that question was asked today about JADON Sancho being ready, he trained with the squad for 2 weeks. Ten Hag said now he will be assessed. When Ten Hag says he will be assessed, then there is a chance that you will see him in the matchday squad. For me, you get JADON Sancho straight into this team, because the games coming up after this are thick and fast and tasty. Yeah, they may not be them types of games, the big ones like the Arsenals and the Cities that have been recently, but the smaller games sometimes prove a little bit harder. It's low block games, it's teams with a determination, it's rivals like Leeds double-header, Crystal Palace at home, who we've seen were a tough nut to crack the other night at Selhurst Park. The low block defence which beats United. Give him a tune-up game, Reading, and hopefully Nottingham Forest next Wednesday. Get Sancho into this team. I can't see Anthony being risked. He likes to play Anthony. He's persisting with him. He's getting better gradually in little bits. The end product isn't quite there, but we've seen a couple of efforts on target and a couple of nice runs from Anthony against Nottingham Forest the other night. So there is a massive positive there in that he is developing. And he's developing quicker than the so-called that type of player that United have brought in the past. They would be given a few games and then they would just be fizzled out, and you'd be thinking, well, what's the point? You look at it like the Dan Jameses of this world. When they come, it's like, yeah, great start, but he just fell off, and then we didn't see him again and wasn't given a chance. That's proved to be the case, being the right decision in letting Dan James go now. But Anthony, with this amount of money, is persisting with him, and I think this is where Ten Hag has gone with Sancho, but on the other side of things. So Sancho's been treated completely differently to any other player I think every other player has not had the situation that Sancho has had. Possibly Rashford, but maybe not on as big a scale. There must have clearly been a huge problem for Sancho. But back training now, fully integrated back in with his teammates. This is the perfect game here tomorrow against Reading to put Sancho in. Go on, just have that tune-up game, fill your boots, go and be dangerous, go and play some risk-reward football, go and do what you do and why we brought you into this club. I can't see why he wouldn't put him in. If he thinks that he can play a small part in this game, I'd start him. I'd put him in the starting lineup and then maybe bring him off at half-time or 60 minutes. Give him at least an hour. That's what I would say. I'd also be looking at playing Palestra. He was quizzed on that in the press conference today as well, about possible players leaving Manchester United now. There are a lot of forwards in this team right now. Not the forwards we want in terms of centre-forwards, number 9 types, but wide players, we've got an abundance at the moment. And Palestra was brought up in this conversation. It now looks like Palestra is going to be staying at Manchester United. He said that he will not be going out on loan. And the key thing that Ten Hag mentioned in his press conference regarding Palestra was that you could see straight away we have a plan for him. What he did, his directness in that Forest game was clear to see. And you know what? Could be the perfect match with the likes of Wout Weghorst, because we've seen that moment, out of his feet on the byline, crossed it into the box. Weghorst about a foot away from scoring his second of the game. We haven't got that in a winger at Manchester United. They're all inverted and they all cut in. Maybe Sancho one side, Palestra the other. That's a great combination for Weghorst in the middle. Rest Rashford. Give him that break that he deserves. it was great seeing Rashford being brought off early in that Forest game, and great being in the position to do that. And to be fair, I think we earned that right, being 3-0 up. Ten Hag nailed it. We went out early, we caught Nottingham Forest cold, and that's what's important and what we've not done for a long time, especially away from home. How many times this season you can count on one hand at a struggle for Manchester United comfortably seeing an away game out? None. I think Forest was the first game. And to be able to rest Rashford now, and then probably rest him again tomorrow, is ideal. With someone like Sancho and the quality that he is to come in, Palestra chomping at the bit, and you've got Garnacho to come into this equation. I don't want to see Rashford anywhere near this team tomorrow. I know there's the momentum factor and keeping that goal-scoring run going, but Rashford doesn't need that right now. We all thought, what's going to happen? He didn't have that game against Crystal Palace, was on the peripheral all the way through the game, wasn't really involved in much, to be fair, apart from the first goal. Second half disappeared. We think, is that it? Is that the run over? Then Rashford came back, bang, won against Arsenal, and obviously Nottingham Forest. Big goals in big games. So for me, I'm not worried about Rashford being out on that momentum. I think he's got it, and he's in that zone right now. So Rashford rested, bubble wrap, tucked away. Go and put your feet up, son. We've got more than enough to beat Reading. Weghorst get his first home game in. I mean, he's had a baptism of fire, let's be honest. Crystal Palace away, then Arsenal away, and then again away in the semi-final last night. It's a tough first 3 games that people have been giving him a lot of stick for, and how limited he is. Give him a chance here again today. Palestra one side, Sancho the other. Great assist. It worked out perfect. Weghorst, I think, will tear Reading apart if you give him the opportunities and put them balls into the box. And quite clearly, we've got that in Sancho and Palestra. That's how I would go with the front 3. I know he's going to play Bruno. He plays him every game. You just might as well accept it. Bruno is very good injury-wise, and he's got a brilliant record. So I can see Bruno playing. I think he'll just captain the team through, or maybe he won't captain the team, because maybe we'll see Harry Maguire. Maguire, Lindelof, I can see that happening. Although Lindelof played the other night, and played very well the other night alongside Martinez. But let's be honest, Martinez makes anyone look good who he plays alongside, proving that point with Lindelof the other night at Nottingham Forest. Maguire, Lindelof, I think Wan-Bissaka will play because Dalot is still injured, says Ten Hag, so I think Wan-Bissaka will still play. I think we'll see Maguire come into the team, possibly see Butland or Heaton. You never know. You never know. Dave might be getting a day off. Luke Shaw is a late fitness test, I think, still might not be ready, so don't risk him. Malacia will play happily there on the left-hand side. Lots of options. Midfield, will Casemiro play? I think he will, because I don't think he'll probably risk Casemiro against Nottingham Forest on Wednesday ahead of the Palace game. I think that game is pretty much put to bed now. I think we've got more than enough in midfield, and we'll keep Casemiro on the bench if we need to bring him on in that Forest game. So I think Casemiro will actually play tomorrow. Eriksen, I think, will rest that out. I think Fred will play. And then whoever else he wants to bring in midfield. Some people are even saying Iqbal, bring some of the young players through into this game. It might be the perfect game for Iqbal to play. I'm looking at it and we're having all these options, and it's a great topic of conversation because last week was a bad week. 5 points dropped in the league from positions where we were a few minutes away from collecting 4 points. It was a bit of a disastrous week, but it could have been so much better. And the best thing that from that we've taken is the fact that Manchester United recovered from that and put a semi-final, 2-legged semi-final game to bed instantly away from home at a tough place to go. Let's not forget, Forest unbeaten in 8 games. We got over that bad week very quickly, and that's a great sign. We wanted to see the reaction. We got that reaction. And now we're in a position here for tomorrow where we can just go, let's rest a few players, and then we can probably rest them again a little bit against Forest in the week. It's Ten Hag's management of this season that you have to praise. We're nearly through a busy January. February is off the scale, mental busy for this team, and we need to rest as many players as possible where we can. Tomorrow is where we rest players. We've got more than enough to beat Reading. They had a good start to this season under Ince. They've just drifted off now into mid-table. Who's their threat? I don't even know if Andy Carroll is fit. I know there was a fitness test on him. I don't know enough about the rest of Reading's team. Only that they are safe. They have some good games. They have some bad games. They'll be chomping at the bit to get out on the pitch here tomorrow. But Manchester United have more than enough to handle Reading. I don't think there'll be any issues tomorrow. I'm not being big-headed and saying that Manchester United should walk this game. I think it will be one of the most comfortable games we've seen at Old Trafford. Complacency, yes, there's always a chance that could happen, but you'd expect United to overcome that like we did against Charlton. I think it was very similar in the first game against Everton in the FA Cup this season. They got it back to 1-1, but we still had more than enough to beat them. I know we had a strong team then. But this is that opportunity under the floodlights at Old Trafford to give some players that game time they need. Elanga, it is rumoured that Elanga's going off to Dortmund now, and he's the one that Ten Hag is happy to let go. His fall down in form has been massive, to be fair. He's fallen off a cliff in terms of his form this season. I think there is something in Elanga, there really is, but the way that this season has gone, we haven't got time to nurture people through. I think what he's seeing is Elanga can progress more at a club getting game time, getting 90 minutes, 70 minutes, which he will get elsewhere. Else Palestra, I think he's happy with him developing at his stage in getting bit part moments. So I can see why he would get rid of Elanga out on loan. I can see why he can see that development, because he could become that player that we've seen when he first burst on the scene. He's had his time at United now, and I think this is how Ten Hag is working it. I think he's giving certain players that chance in the team and development, playing and training with the first team, getting a little appearances here and there. And then there's some that have gone past that stage, which is Elanga, then send them on loan, get some more game time. We have a lot of promise on loan this season. Obviously, Charlie Savage has just gone off on loan now himself. We should be seeing Elanga go. We've got a lot of good players like Ahmad out on loan having a great season at Sunderland. We've got Fernandez at Preston having a good season as well. We've got a lot of promise coming back into this summer. And I think Ten Hag, and again I'll go back to what I just said, he has managed this season superbly so far for the amount of games. I think it was Samuel Luckhurst who commented a while ago, and he said, if United get through the rounds of the cup games that they've got, they won't be able to play the games this season. This is what we're dealing with an ownership that won't back him and bring in more players that he needs in the summer. Ten Hag has just mastered this spell. It could go wrong. We could get an injury to a key player, and then we really are struggling and the season looks dead. And then all eyes will be up at the board and the directors' boxes saying, you didn't back the man. The guy who's proved that he can take this team to the next level, and you did not back him. Manchester United have just been unlucky. We got what we wanted with the Glazers leaving. It's come at the wrong time for Ten Hag when we're actually on a good run this season and we're looking progressive. But I do think that he's handled it superbly, and I think this game tomorrow shows exactly the position that he's in as a manager and where he's with his squad right now. Because I do think we'll see 5 or 6 changes in key areas on the pitch tomorrow. And it's exactly what we need with that build-up of fixtures coming in February, because it is, I think it's Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday football, all the way through to the international break now at the end of March. It is a worry that we cannot handle all of these games, but opportunities like Reading come along, you've got to take it. We've got more than enough in the reserves or the fringe players to beat Reading. And you know what? Some of them players that have come off of the bench have been playing well. The likes of Palestra, like I said, so I'm not as concerned anymore. This is what Ten Hag has done. He has mixed this squad well and brought players in when he's needed to, and he's managed them very, very well. He is in complete control of everything right now, and that is the big positive of what we've got. Ten Hag is definitely taking this team forward. He's not going to get the backing. I don't expect anyone else to come in, but opportunities like this, he's going to take them, and I think that's why tomorrow we'll see changes. I still think United will win this game 3 or 4-0. I think I might stick to 3-0 because that's a popular scoreline for us this season. So I'm going to go with 3-0. That's my prediction. Guys, let me know what you think. Drop your comments in below. How many changes would you make for this game? What are your score predictions? Are there any fears with Reading coming to town tomorrow night? Not for me, but let me know. Comment below. Let me know what you think of my points on Sancho. Does he come straight in as well? Like, share and subscribe to the United Stand, everybody. I'll see you outside Old Trafford tomorrow night, celebrating United getting through to the 5th round. I'm not being bullish, I swear.